Have you ever read Solo Leveling? Well, if you have, congratulations, you've basically read 90% of all manhwas out there. You're not missing much. Some people say that many manga are cliche and mediocre, which I'm not sure I'd agree with, but to those people I'd say, have you ever read a manhwa? And for some reason I hate this word, I can't say it properly. How do you guys say it? Manhwa? Manhwa? I don't know. Anyways, if you think most manga and anime are cliche, that's probably because you haven't been introduced to the world of manhwas, or should I say the Sung Jin-Woo multiverse. In case you've been living under a rock, manhwas are basically Korean comics. One of the good things about them is that they have colors, which is something I always miss whenever I'm reading Japanese manga. Also, manhwas are way more mobile friendly. You can read them on your phone without having to zoom in just to see whatever the shit is written. And maybe some of you who've never read one are thinking, well, then they're better, right? Nope, that's literally all manhwas have going for them. The rest is either just okay or absolute trash. By the way, as a non-native English speaker, I've been learning how to pronounce a very specific vowel sound that shows up in some words like these. And let me tell ya, this sound's driving me insane, cause sometimes I just can't hear the difference at all. Anyway, going back to the trash, I think that's how I pronounce the A in this one. Why do most manhwas look like copycats of each other? I'm not even talking about the plot here, I mean the art style. I mean, look at this. If there were a global competition where artists had to copy each other's styles, Korean would take the win every single time. Also, if you're annoyed by the amount of Kirito wannabes in manga, then I'm sure you'd be flabbergasted by how many Korean characters look like top models. I mean, look at this girl, and this one, and this one. For some reason, every MC has to be a 10-foot tall ripped dude with this edgy attitude. Like, at least change their hair color. Change something, for God's sake. And don't even get me started on the plot, man, this is where things get ugly for manhwas. When I first watched Solo Leveling, especially the first season, I was so hyped. So much so that I decided to check out the manhwa to continue the story. The art's really good and the artist is great at showing movement during fights, but one thing that really bothered me was this constant need to show how Sung Jin-Woo is superior to everyone he meets. Not only that, but also the extreme focus on the MC while completely ignoring everyone else. This left me with this bitter taste in my mouth when I finished the last chapter. Now, my goal here isn't to criticize Solo Leveling itself, but to point out that when I tried other manhwas hoping for something fresh and new, I got the same thing, just worse. Let me give you an example. Is this hero for real? The protagonist's name is King Han-soo. Sorry, I don't speak Korean. Well, at least this one looks a little different. He's summoned to save another world by a goddess along with a bunch of other heroes. She explains the basics of what they're supposed to do, and King Han-soo basically goes, I ain't saving shit, send me back to my homies. Not in those exact words of course, but that's pretty much what he means. The goddess just looks at him and goes, sure? And then she sends him to some random dark forest to die. Alright, even though the plot's generic, I kinda liked it, so point to this manhwa. Then a bunch of dog-like monsters start chasing our dear MC. He gets driven into a corner, or should I say into a tree, and when he's about to meet his end, a girl appears behind him and we see this message: a certain god speaks. Bro, seriously? This god shit again? Why are Korean authors so obsessed with gods? This always happens whenever I get hooked with a new manhwa. It goes fine until a certain point, and then the god of bullshit seems interested in you. And the same annoying thing goes on non-stop in most manhwas. The MC helps a random person, and then it's like, the helping god smiles upon you, or some shit like that. And we never actually see the gods speaking themselves. It's always this generic, I'm 14, this is deep kind of message, you know? Oh, and the ending of this manhwa sucks. But to be fair, having shitty endings is kind of a tradition in the manga world too, so I won't hold that against them. And that's pretty much what I think about manhwas. They're mobile friendly and have colors, which is really nice, but most of them are just another author trying to copy the Solo Leveling formula. Somehow they still manage to be even more shallow than your average isekai, since they tend to focus only on the MC's solo journey. So if you've read Solo Leveling and decided to stick with the manga instead, let me tell you this, you're really not missing much. As you can see, my growth here on YouTube has been not very good. So if you enjoyed this video and want to see more from me, consider giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. Now, if you allow me, I'm gonna go back to my manhwa. And I hate saying this word.